Welcome to podcast 55 of the Pickleball Crew. We've skipped a week. Ken had some minor surgery, but he's back now. And we're going to talk a little bit about health and safety issues out on the court. And Ken's going to lead us off.
Yeah, we just started batting this ideas around, not just because of the hot weather, but there's so many things you can do to take precautions when you go out and play pickleball. So we're going to try to cover a half dozen topics, and we're going to start with warming up and recovering properly. Does anybody have any thoughts on what's the proper way to warm up and recover from a session of pickleball?
Yeah, I think our regular warm up, Ken, that we do when we get there, if you go through it properly and hit enough shots. You and I were talking earlier, and we've been guilty of this too. But when you get to the park, you need to go through a pretty good warm up, especially during the cooler weather months, and take your time and hit a variety of different shots, and kind of get your body going, and warmed up, and then do your play. And some of the things that I've been hearing that I didn't really think about is when we're done playing, stretching, and kind of cooling down, but mainly stretching. I've been dealing with some plantar fasciitis that we'll probably talk about later in the show. And I was told by a couple of different physical therapists to make sure and stretch when I'm done playing at night. And I'm doing that now, but I wasn't doing that before. So that's kind of some things that I think are important from what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, it's always been, loosening up. And so it's things like rolling your shoulders. I love to just shake my arms and shake my legs kind of thing so that I'm not dealing with tight muscles getting out there to start out with. Same thing with my neck. Just making sure that you're kind of in a little bit more relaxed state to get out there to start playing. Tighter muscles sometimes can cause you can actually end up injuring yourself more with tighter muscles. So I like to loosen up a bunch before I play.
I like to put my paddle in my hand and take some real broad, exaggerated forehand motion and real broad and exaggerated backhand motions to warm my shoulders up. I've always had some issues with my shoulders, and I find if I do that really helps. And speaking of plantar fasciitis, Jeff, I had that really bad about 6 months to a year ago. And one of the exercises somebody told me to do was really do the exercise where you stretch your Achilles and the muscle in the back of your legs,
Calf muscle,
your hamstrings and your calf. Yeah, all down the back of your leg. Mm-hmm. And that really helped.
That's important. And what they say is dynamic stretching is actually even better than static stretching. And a couple of things are where you run at a slow pace, but you almost try to hit your feet to hit your butt so that you're stretching your quads. And then also a skipping where you do an exaggerated skip, where each leg comes up way high as a part of the skip. You're really trying to stretch, like you said, your calf muscles, your hamstrings, your quads. Because look, you're moving back and forth on that court quickly. And if you walk out there, dink a few balls, and then try to play a full speed game, you're just setting yourself up for a pulled muscle. And we all know that's no fun.
Yeah. There's a guy that comes and plays at John Slidell. He's from on the South Shore. And I'm telling you what, that guy spends 30 to 45 minutes doing nothing but stretching and movement around the court. He'll walk around the court probably a half a dozen times, sideways skip. He's got one of those ropes that he brings that he lays on the floor and he hooks it over his foot and he stretches like that. I mean, I can't
Wow.
believe the guy's now. I mean, he takes it really serious, which
Yeah,
we should probably all do.
we really should. We really should. And like Jeff said, when you're finished playing, Vicki and I did a lot of long distance running in our day, and when we would come back, there's that stick that you can run up and down your calf, your quads, your hamstring to kind of soften those muscles, relax them at the end. Also, there's foam rollers. There's some mat stretching you can do. And look, what else is good too is a cold plunge, an ice
Cold plunge.
bath, or just jump into a chilled pool. But that's actually good post-workout help for your muscles as well.
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder what Pelican Park would think about jumping in that lake.
I don't think
Right.
I'd want to jump in there.
Right now, bud, you could probably boil eggs in that lake.
Yeah, really.
You're probably right.
Yeah. I think the big trick too is inflammation. That, obviously the older we get, we're dealing with a lot more inflammation and body wide that, so anything that you can do, and that's one of the true advantages of that cold plunge is that it helps you fight inflammation in an area that maybe you already have something tweaked or whatever, but it kind of helps bring that back down and keeps it from getting worse.
I guess I'm just lucky because I, in spite of my age, I don't have a lot of aches and pains after playing. My biggest problem is just flat out fatigue.
Right.
I just get tireder faster than I used to.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially in this heat right now.
Yeah.
You're right,
Yeah.
Vic. Talking about inflammation, that plantar fasciitis, how it was explained to me, it's little tears in that muscle on the bottom of your foot, and it's not as elastic as it once was, and the pounding effect of
Right.
like flat footed. That's why insoles help. So when you get off the court, if you can get your feet in an ice bath, it'll kind of calm down those those inflammatory tears that are on that muscle and help some.
Right.
Yeah, I know I had plantar fasciitis, like I said, really bad about 6 months, a year ago. And I finally bought some good inserts, and it really helps. So
Mm-hmm.
I know we're going to talk about that later, but
Mm-hmm.
you're right. But the stretching exercises helped a lot too. And another thing that helped was a frozen bottle of water.
Mm-hmm.
You could, after you play, you roll the bottom of your foot on.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped a lot too.
I did try that after a while. I had been rolling on a tennis ball or something, and somebody told me that trick also, and it really does help. Really does help out a lot. But I think that this goes to life in general as well for all of us when we get out of the bed in the morning. Are you getting out of the bed a little stiffer than maybe normal or something, or have you played a lot of games the day before kind of thing? Take that moment, stop and stretch, because they say that people who age better and more gracefully have fewer injuries and everything else are more flexible. And so the more flexible we can keep our bodies, I think the safer we can keep them.
All right, those are all some good points on warming up and recovery. Let's talk about injury prevention. What can you do to help prevent injuries as well? One thing is backpedaling is a no-no. Unfortunately, every now and then we catch ourselves doing it, but that's something that it's easy to lose your balance. And the last thing you want to do is fall and hit your arm, hit your head. So backpedaling is one of those things that, if you can take that out of your movement on the court, you're really going to reduce your risk for injury.
That's why it's good, Ken, to and this is one of the top injuries in pickleball is going back for a lob, throwing our heads back and just starting to backpedal. It's good to get used to and work on this in a if it's not a drilling situation, just let somebody throw a few lobs up. Open your shoulder up one way or the other to that ball and turn and run like a receiver going for a football or an outfielder going for a line drive that's hit back over their head. Turn and run, because when we throw our heads up and we start backpedaling, it's very easy to get off balance, and it's that short lob that gets us sometimes. Okay, where you think, oh, I can go back a couple of steps straight back and hit this. Well, so make it your MO not to do that. Just turn and run on all of them. And you'll find you get back there a lot quicker, even on those short lobs, to get set up to drive through that ball, when you're trying to hit your overhead.
I mean, and another thing I can think of too is that, and I feel like everybody out at the park really does a great job doing it. In most facilities I've been to, everybody does it. Every now and then you get so tired that maybe you don't pay as close attention, but yelling ball when a ball comes on the court. And there's some people that even get upset over it because somebody might call it early or something, but guys, don't be upset over it. I mean, it's everybody's well-being that if a ball does come rolling across a player, that's the worst, is stepping on a ball and falling as well. That's, so always be safe, call that and stop the play for sure.
And I'll tell you, protective eyewear is almost becoming required. There's nothing worse than getting hit near the eye or in the face with a ball that's traveling as fast as it is. And sometimes that ball goes off your partner's paddle. You're watching your partner hit the ball. It goes off the edge of their paddle and is coming straight for your face. And, Vicki and I really try to wear, we've got different variations of our gooder glasses, sunglasses. And even in bright sun, there's certain glasses, overcast, there's certain glasses, but we try to wear sunglasses all the time. But if nothing else, you can get just some protective eyewear, or take a pair of old sunglasses and take the lenses out, if you don't want to have a shaded lens, but just something to protect your eye socket and your eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ken. Of course, most people play in sunglasses outdoors, but then they go indoors and they don't play in sunglasses. That is why I always play with a cap on, whether if I'm indoors or outdoors. Not only the bill is not only there to keep the sun out of your eyes, but I can't tell you how many times a ball has glanced off the bill of my cap. It's protecting this area of my head, the eyes. And with Pat, we always talk about paddle technology, speeding the ball up. All of us have tried to hit a smash that we want to hit it down at the floor, but ball gets away from us and it goes right at somebody's head. I think, I don't have the statistics to back this up, but I think eye injuries are one of the top 2 or 3 injuries in pickleball nowadays.
Yep.
Absolutely. Detached retinas, they're saying, are very common now with pickleballers, and that's quite scary. You don't want to have it happen if you don't need to. I actually just got hit right in the face. It would have been my left eye, but I did have sunglasses on. It knocked the glasses so hard I had a bruise, a black and blue bruise across the bridge of my nose, but thank goodness I had those glasses on.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Another coaching point. I know we got, we coach, and then we've got several people that watch the podcast that also coach. They teach in baseball, when you're looking at that pitcher, any pitch that comes inside that's threatening to hit you, they teach you to tuck, like that, to protect your face. And I try to do that in pickleball when it's coming at me, one way or the other, there or there, just tuck down. That split second could protect your face, that little bit. Now, it don't feel good when you tuck and and it slaps right on that ear. I've had that happen a few times, but I guess I'd rather have it on my ear or side of my hard head than in my eye.
Yeah, no doubt.
And one of the things, excuse me, I'd add to injury prevention, excuse me, is, we're all, pickleball shoes aren't cheap. Good pickleball shoes, $80 to $150. And sometimes we're trying to milk that last couple of games out of our shoes, but be careful playing on basically dead shoes or shoes that we've burned a hole in it, because that can cause foot problems and knee problems playing on dead shoes. I know as a runner, you tried to get 500 miles out of a pair of shoes, and as the last 50 miles, you were really probably doing more harm than good. And I think the same could be true for pickleball. Be careful, because you don't have the support, the lateral support that you do on a fresh pair of shoes. So protect those feet as best you can.
And tie those shoelaces really tight. Double knot them. But if you got extra shoelaces that could come loose or something like that, just tie them up twice if you have to. You can always undo it. It's just better and safer to make sure that they're not going to come loose on you out there.
Yeah. And sunscreen, y'all. For those of us that play outdoors a good bit, everybody knows I'm a fishing guide. I'm pretty good about getting my sunscreen on early in the mornings, preferably before you've started sweating, because they always say reapply, and you should reapply, but it never goes on as good when you're all sweaty. Get that good base layer on before you get out there, and that way we won't have as many skin problems down the road, hopefully, by putting some good sunscreen on.
I think also something to think about for our outdoor players is know when to walk off the court when it rains.
Yes.
So I think a lot of times it starts raining.
For injury prevention, Bud. There's people that they're too, somebody's that's 9-7 and they're trying to finish a game.
Yep.
One game isn't worth it in rec play, or in tournament play.
Yep.
And those lines
don't be so quick to get on the court after it rains.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. They get on too soon after, and then it's just as bad and slippery. Yeah. And those lines can be really slick. I mean, that's another thing. You may stuff your shoes around at the back end of the court, but if you don't test out those lines, that's you need to do that. They're quite slippery and on a lot of courts. So when they're damp, that's kind of a scary thing.
I think this would be a great place to take a break. And when we come back, Ken will pick it up with some health checks. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Pickleball Crew. We are a group of pickleball fanatics based in Southeast Louisiana and are passionate about all things pickleball everywhere. Our focus is to inform, acknowledge those who help build the game regionally, and promote tournaments in our area. We do our best to present this with a love of the sport, a sense of humor, and a lot of fun. So join Vicki Wynn, Ken Wynn, Jeff Fuchsia, and me, Bud Klein, in our latest episode. We are glad you are along for the ride.
So let's talk about our third topic as far as health and safety, and are you taking the proper precautions? And our next one is health check. We unfortunately lost a real good friend of ours back in March, and we've had, matter of fact, a group of us about a year and a half ago had to do CPR on another friend of ours on the court. And it just brings to mind that, we're all getting a little older, and it's not a bad idea to go see your doctor, take a stress test on your heart, just reestablish that baseline so that when you're out on the courts, you know that you're in good shape to be able to handle it. So we highly recommend reestablishing a baseline and just getting a checkup.
Yeah, Ken, that's really good stuff. I go to my primary care physician twice a year, and I do the whole blood work thing twice a year. And as a matter of fact, I just went through it about a month ago, and everything looks good. So I take that very seriously, and I think everybody should. As Ken said, establish a baseline, know if you've got any issues that you need to deal with. I personally suffer from hypertension, high blood pressure, so I have to take medication for that. I also have a cholesterol problem that I take medication for, but I keep it down, I keep it manageable, and I do that just because my health is a big concern to me, and I take it seriously.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a good thought. It really is. I mean, even if especially for people who are diabetic or have other issues, it's important to go get those regular checkups. But the baseline on the heart thing, I think is something you need to consider. Everybody needs to consider. I know I need to go in now that I have some family issues on. It makes us even that much more aware. When you think of how many athletes, whether it was training camp over the summer, we've had high school students that, ended up with heart issues that they had no idea that they had. And the only way they found out is because they collapsed on the field. And, so you don't want to end up in that position if you don't have to. So it's just good to be proactive and get it done.
Yeah, and I think it's a good idea at your home park, like for y'all, it's Pelican Park, to know where your safety gear is at. We had talked about this on earlier episodes when y'all went through that, Ken, and there's safety gear that should be there. If you're at a park where they might not have thought about this yet, go down the list. Ken, you know more about that than I do as far as stuff that you need there. What is some of the stuff?
Well, the one thing is, I would highly recommend you get a group together where you play and get everybody, as many people as you can, both CPR trained, certified if possible, and also teach them how to use the AED. At Pelican Park on the pond side of the courts, there is an AED attached to the fence. And it's not hard to learn how to use one. It basically, when you turn it on, it prompts you on what's the next step to take. And, like Vicki said, we just had an incident in Vicki's brother. And fortunately, at this restaurant, there were people who were not only CPR trained, but they were trained in AED, and it saved his life, So just knowing CPR and how to use an AED is crucial. I want to be playing with people who know how to do that, so I know that I'm somewhat protected. So I'd get people together and hold a class, and you could do it for next to nothing. So.
Absolutely. And there's first aid kits that you should consider and know where they are. If it's at an office at a park or whatever else, just know where those first aid kits are. And like at our park, if you call the park and tell them you need ice, they'll bring you ice if somebody is passing out or getting too hot, getting, really badly overheated. They can do things like that. So it's good communication with the facility where you play. If you have a favorite facility that you're at a lot, communicate with them and find out where all those helpers are.
Yeah, those are two good points. CPR, AED, and establishing a baseline. The other things, if you've got some nagging aches and pains, go get them checked out too, because sometimes waiting will make them worse. It's just important, like Bud said. Bud gets a checkup twice a year. I have an annual wellness check myself. So it's good to stay on top of all that stuff and talk freely with your doctor of those little aches and pains instead of says, I'll just hold off. It may go away.
Yeah, I think our tendency, Ken, most I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of people that we play with, you're an athlete. You're taught to be tough. You're taught to hang in there. You're taught to fight through all of those things. And we do want to be tough, mentally tough, and all that good stuff. But if you're having something, like you're surprisingly fatigued or something like that, and it's happening to you more often than not, it's a good idea, just to go ahead and have that checked out, just to be safe. So I guess there's a balance between being tough and being dumb.
Right.
Like we say out here in the country, Ken. If you're gonna be, what do we say? What do we say? We say if you're gonna be stupid, you better be tough.
Yeah. And speaking of kind of pains and nagging injuries, I'll kind of fill everybody in. I'll try to be brief. But, I haven't been on the pickleball court now in probably 6 weeks. And in the summer of 22, I started having some lower back pain. And I went to PT and I did some dry needling and actually got better. But then in the spring of 23, last year, I started to have what I felt was the exact same lower back pain. So I talked to my doctor. She recommended PT. And look, I went to, they were an excellent team at this physical therapy. It was Oshner's physical therapy team. But I found myself not getting better. And they did a little bit of dry needling. And I actually, over time, felt like I was getting worse, not better. So by the fall of 2023, my doctor says, look, it's the physical therapy doesn't seem to be helping. Why don't we get an MRI so we can figure out if there's something more structurally that's wrong? Well, in December of 23, when I had late November, I had my MRI. It was then determined that I had spinal stenosis. Matter of fact, I had a severe case of spinal stenosis. Now, spinal stenosis unto itself is not uncommon. Many people can have it to some degree. It's often associated with age or wear or tear. Generic factors can play into it. It basically, spinal stenosis, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not in the medical field, so please, if I say something a little bit wrong, don't kill me here, but it's basically when the space inside the backbone kind of starts to narrow. And in that backbone, that's where your spinal cord is up top, but past there toward the bottom 2/3 of your spine, it's kind of these horsehair nerves that are traveling through. And it's often occurs in the neck and the back. And I'll use the analogy of a long hotel hallway where you have doors every so often down this hallway. Those doors are where the different nerves exit to go to different parts of the body. But what's happening in this hotel hallway is the ceiling is starting to droop. And at first, it's just a little bit that maybe you can still walk down, but you have to lean. But when it's severe, that ceiling is now drooping down 60, 70, even 80%, that you now have to crawl in certain areas. And so what's happening is that bone is putting pressure against those nerve roots, which for me was causing nerve pain, numbness in my legs. And in January of this year, 2024, the pain just increased. I was playing pickleball, but I really became kind of a shell of myself. I wasn't able to move on the courts very well. And by the beginning of March, I went to see 2 spine specialists, and both of them said, look, really surgery is really that's the destination for you right now. I'm not so sure that we can do anything else. We could try an epidural, but it looks like surgery is really the route for you. And in April of 2024, I saw my 3rd spine surgeon, who came highly recommended from Bruce Center. And I am so appreciative of Bruce insisting that I see Dr. Chip Davis of Paradigm. But he put me on gabapentin for a couple of weeks, saying, let's see if this would help. And even with being on the gabapentin, the pain just got worse. It was to the point where I couldn't even stand up for a long period of time without my legs going numb and a lot of nerve pain. So, and now I'm not playing pickleball at all. It's late April, early May. I've stopped playing pickleball. I can't walk. I can't run. I can't do anything. So I have surgery on June 10th. And what he basically did it's a laminectomy, which if we go back to the analogy of the hotel hallway where the ceiling is drooping, well, he removed the entire ceiling of the hallway so that my nerves, my horsehair roots now have that the whole hallway now to fill back up, and they're not being impeded or pressed or squeezed down. And, I'm just blessed and the second thing I had to have done because of the instability is I had to have a couple of vertebrae fused. So I had a laminectomy and a fusion, but I'm 15 days post-surgery. And I got to tell you, I have 99% of my pain is gone. And I have had zero numbness since the hour after surgery. I was walking the next day and I feel great. I do have about 6 to 8 months ahead of me as far as rehab. So I won't be playing pickleball for a little bit, but in telling my story a little bit on Facebook and a little bit through conversations, I found that several of my pickleball friends have all had this same thing done. And I've even had people come to me saying, hey, I'm having similar pains. And they started to compare notes with me to see if they may have what I went through. So at first I wasn't sure about sharing out my story, but if I could help somebody else who might be going through this and just to let everybody know that, I'm doing okay now on my road to recovery. So.
And we're glad you're back, Ken.
Yeah, thank you.
We really are.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if it's all right with you, I'd like every couple weeks, if we could do, and I'm gonna pick on you a little bit, Howard. I'm glad that was the short version. I don't know what the long version is. Just picking. I did wanted you to really explain what you went through.
Well, I wanted to explain what it was so people don't, understood exactly what
and Howard Ward right now. But anyway, if it's all right with you, maybe every week you can give a little update on how your recovery's coming. It's intriguing to me. Dave Harris had this done, and
Tex Morris had it done.
Tex Morris, Dave Harris,
Mike LaCorn, Kaylin Alford. There's several other people. I can't think of their names
Shelley
right
Martin.
now.
Didn't you tell me Shelley Martin had it
Shelley
done?
Martin had this done recently. She a year or so ago, within the last 18 months.
Back on the court. One of the medal this weekend. Dave Harris is getting out there with John and cranking on golf balls and beating up on John on the golf course. So, it's a great thing. I know it's a serious surgery when they're working on your back. If that gets screwed up, that's not a good deal. So we would like to, if that's all right with you, kind of be on this journey with getting back, to the courts.
Yeah, no problem. So that kind of wraps up a health check. Let's talk about fueling up. This is really important, especially since we're into the hotter months of the year. Look, don't go to the courts on an empty stomach. Don't go to the courts, without getting some fluid in your system. What are the things you guys, what are some of the things that you guys do that make sure that you get there and you're fueled up?
Well, I know a lot of people do, they fuel up the night before. I know when we were running, Ken, you and I talked about that too, is that we used to hydrate pretty well for the 2 to 3 days before a race. And, we don't think about that much with pickleball, but with the heat the way it is right now, I think people just need to have electrolytes always handy. I'm not great. My stomach doesn't handle electrolytes very well while I'm playing. But the minute I stop playing, I hit the electrolytes. And, I think the other thing too is to bring enough water. It's so hot. If you have to drag a cooler with you, drag a cooler with you, but make sure you have enough liquid and enough water so that you're hydrating between matches as well.
I know right now, instead of 2 bottles of electrolytes, I bring 3. I drink 2 while we're playing, and I drink the third one when we finish, when I'm done.
Good.
Yeah,
That helps a lot.
One of the big keys here, y'all, with the hydration thing is before, during, and after. I've been through some dehydration issues, not only on the pickleball court, but also guiding. And it's the cumulative effect that gets you the day after day. So let's say you're playing today and you're playing again tomorrow, when you get home this evening,
Right.
get on those liquids and I don't care if you're thirsty or not. Get on some water, get on some good hydration, liquid IV or whatever it is. Sit there and sip on a glass of it and really get juiced up before you play the next day. That's big. And then the other point I wanted to make, and I've learned this from some of y'all, is bringing little snacks and stuff to the pickleball court, and kind of eating a little bit alone. A lot of us don't. Of course, we don't like to eat big while we're there, but and I always, before I realized this, I thought, hey, just we'll go eat after. That'll be fine. But you'll notice your energy levels drop. So little snacks, this and that. Several people this weekend had some nice cut trays of fruit, um, grapes and stuff like that. Cut pineapple, that's in a little cool tray. All of that is really good and hydrating and can be a little energy boost for you.
Yeah, and try to bring enough to share if you can, because you never know when it's your partner or your friend that's gonna, they're all of a sudden gonna feel weak.
Stuff together, y'all get it together, and I'll help y'all eat it.
And I want to make one mention of one other thing that this time of year I have to start paying a little bit more attention to as well. Throughout the winter, I don't have to worry about it so much, and that's bringing pickle juice, in our cooler as well. So I know everybody has their own little solutions to an actual cramp, but pickle juice for me, just works really, really well. And I actually end up sometimes just drinking it anyway, because I know that later in the evening, if I've had some pickle juice, it's going to prevent me from having a late leg cramp or something. So.
You mentioned that, Vicki. My problem with cramping is later in the evening, well after I've exercised, just sitting around. I buy those little pudding canister size of petite dills, and I'll get one of those. I'll drink all the liquid right away, and then I'll sit there and munch on the pickles, and that usually takes care of my cramps.
Where you get that, bud?
I get mine at Winn-Dixie, Walmart. They say in the condiment section, and they, like I said, but I also have a jar of pickle juice. I don't ever throw the jar of pickle juice away. I keep it, and if I'm really cramping, I'll take a couple of good swigs out of that pickle jar.
And they sell those pouches I think it's called O-Snap. That is sliced pickles with juice in it, and we bring those on the court out to the court.
Ken, I haven't seen those. I used to like the pouch also, but I haven't seen the pouches in a long time.
Aldi's was having it.
Okay, I'll take a look. I prefer the pouch, but
do you have the little bottles, travel bottles of pickle juice, and so, but yeah, definitely. And my brother uses mustard. Like when he starts having a leg cramp, he swears by mustard and just yellow mustard. And that takes his away. So
Well, sometimes I'll have peanut butter. I find peanut butter will help, but
interesting.
mostly pickle juice. Mostly pickle juice.
Yeah.
All right, guys, those are some great
Prepare
thoughts
people
on
before you go out.
fueling up. Let's touch a little bit on taking breaks. Look, I mean, at this time of the year, play 2 games and sit out 1. You know, you've got to pace yourself, especially if you're going to be at the courts for 3-4 hours. You don't have to be an Iron Man, Iron Woman to do it, but definitely take breaks during the day.
You know, Ken, and that's probably one of my weaknesses. I don't like to sit. I prefer to just play. But you make a good point, and that probably accounts for some of my fatigue, is I don't really rest in between. So I need to work on that.
Yeah, it's much more important, bud, this time of year. You know, it's different.
Yeah.
Spring, winter, cooler. But take those breaks, get that body temperature down. We got the the little neck fans and the things that go around your neck. You know, bring that ice chest, bring that Florida water this time of year, and take some time, put it on your head, and get over there and cool down some, and not have try to stay away from those issues of dehydrating or overheating, especially now, y'all. Y'all remember last June we went into a heat wave, and it, I don't know what the weather's going to continue doing, but we've already had several hot days. It's hot out there today. If this continues, it's going to be something to really watch out for, and just remind each other
Yep.
to do these things.
Yeah, and expanding on taking breaks is make sure you take a break during the week. You know, a rest day during the week can be just as valuable as, if all those days you play, you need, I don't know what the formula is, but 2 days of play, you may need 1 day of rest. Let those muscles heal. If not, you're setting yourself up for injury. If you're playing that 3rd or 4th day in a row, you're playing on tired legs. You're pushing the envelope there for injury. So
Yeah, the other thing, Ken, that me and you had talked about earlier, I don't know if this is time to inject it or not, but we got new wonderful air conditioned places opening up, y'all. You got the Exchange down in New Orleans. You got Stats. You got Category 5 there in Mandeville, and some others are coming. Get with your friends and go patronize some of these places, because we want those places to make it for sure, because it's an excellent option for us when it's hot, and also when the weather's bad, when it's raining. A couple years ago, if we got rained out, we couldn't get outside, there weren't many places to play indoors. So take advantage of some of these indoor places, especially during this heat of the summer, if you can.
yeah, well, that's a good segue, Jeff, to really the last subtopic here is preparing for weather conditions. And one thing is wearing that UPF clothing and layer. The day can continue to get hotter, and some parts of the year the day could cool down. So you want to make sure that you've brought enough clothing, either taking it off or putting it on as the day goes on. And look, if all you own is short sleeve shirts, and you don't want to invest in a lot of SPF long sleeve shirts, they make SPF sleeves that you can wear. So you just wear your favorite short sleeve shirts with the SPF sleeve. But, and like Jeff said earlier, sunscreen, that's important to prepare yourself for, some of the weather conditions that we're facing at this time of the year in a brutal summer.
Yeah, my hairdresser one time told me, she said, Vicki, you had better start wearing a hat. Versus I used to wear nothing but a visor. And because I have a part in my hair, my part was actually frying. I mean, it was getting burnt. And she said, you don't want skin cancer on your head like that. So it was a big switch for me then to always have a hat on my head.
Yeah, I wear a hat all the
No
time.
big deal, but if it's a scorcher, I'm going to have a hat on. And they now make a lot of hats with that UPF protection as well, and that's $50. that's a sunscreen of 50. So,
You know
between
what? And a cooling towel is a big thing at this time of year. You dip it in your ice cooler and you play games with it around your neck, or when you come off to take that break after 2 games, that's going to drop your body temperature by 5-10 degrees easy with a cooling towel.
I had mine on today.
She
Soaked
did.
it around my, yeah.
Yep.
Well, Vic, the problem we had today, they were talking about the humidity being so close to the air temperature, and when that humidity's close to that, you're sweating, but
Mhm.
it's not condensing off of your body and giving you the cooling effect, so you don't cool down near as well on a day like today.
Right.
So
Yeah, if you're playing outdoors and there's a breeze and it's not cooling you down, you know that it's the humidity's high and you really need to make adjustments.
speaking of, y'all, it up there at Opelika this week, they had fans all over the place. I don't know if y'all can. The powers that be at Pelican Park might be a good idea. Maybe if they would put a couple fans out there,
Mm-hmm.
for people to go stand in front of. I stood in front of it. Several people. You could go and get in front of that fan and get cooled down those few degrees. And hey, we were playing underneath the tent there, and it was hot underneath the tent there in Opelika.
Right.
You're at Pelican Park. You're in that straight sunlight.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Good point, Jeff.
I don't know.
Good idea.
And they need to create more shade is what I wish they would do. I just think that the 2 canopies that are between the courts don't provide much shade at all. And then the other one, everybody congregates there and you're kind of chasing the shade as well, but it's just not enough space for the amount of players that we have.
Yeah, you know what else they had at Opelika? They had a like one of y'all's little standing tents y'all set up, and they had it set up by the drain right there, and they had the little sprayers with a hose
Right.
where people could go get under there and
Mhm.
get cooled off like that. I'm not suggesting Pelican Park do that, but maybe y'all know more of the people there and that can make decisions like that. But maybe a couple fans there might save somebody, down the road this summer.
And they do make misting fans too. So if it is an option, we can maybe look at something like that rather than the misters that, go around a tent or something, but they do have fans that you can attach a hose to and it becomes a mister as
Yeah.
well. So, and that really cools you down when it's a wet
Oh yeah.
pool. So yeah, it's definitely, and I think the big thing too is just like Ken said, dressing for the day as well, and knowing that you're protecting yourself, protecting your skin. There are some of those UPF shirts. I know some of the ones we had, Ken, you actually stay cooler when you wet the shirt. So, we would all pour water on our shirts. There was a bunch of us that ordered them out there, and you wet the shirt and then wear it, and it does keep you cooler. So,
Yeah, I'm glad you explained that, Vicki, because Ken was talking about taking off layers a while ago, and I know what Bud was thinking. He's like, "But I'll strip and play naked pickleball."
Yeah, you don't want to see that. You do not want to see that. Crew, that was a great discussion on health and safety issues on the court. We talked a little bit about playing indoors. And speaking of indoors, we've got a new indoor facility, Category 5. This past couple weekends ago, Vicki and I were able to go to Cat 5 and have a conversation with Andrea Magrath. And here is that interview.
Hey, Bud. We're in Mandeville, Louisiana, and we are here at the brand new facility, Category 5. If I'm not mistaken, this is the only indoor facility anywhere near here that's dedicated to pickleball. So we're very excited to be here, and I am with our good friend from Pelican Park.
Yeah.
But now from Category 5. And she's a co-owner, certified coach. going to be doing so much more and really helped out so much with the organization and the building and the designing and everything else of this facility.
Yeah.
So, Andrea, please tell us a little bit about how the facility came to be, how you guys ended up here. And I mean, it's beautiful. Look at the work. It's gorgeous.
I can't wait to take you inside. But first, we'll just start. There's 4 families that are owners, and I was approached last year, almost a year ago today, actually, about coming onto the team. There's 3 young families that just love community and love pickleball and wanted to open a business here, and they approached me about coming to be their pickle boss is what I'm kind of referred to.
That's cute.
And so I signed on kind of more as just to help guide them with some pickleball instruction and programming and things like that. And then the more we got into it, Brad and I were like, this is an amazing opportunity that we want to be a part of as well, like even more. So then we decided to invest and to get into the ownership deal as well. We found this location. This was the old Tuesday morning, and it has been empty well over a year.
Yes,
I mean,
for a while.
It's been a while. We had another location last year that we thought we were going to get. That deal fell through, so then we were stuck. And honestly, I went to the Exchange down on the South Shore.
Right.
And when I saw our ceilings are very similar to what Terry has over there. And when I saw that she was doing it, I was like, we can do it too.
Right.
And so we, as a team, I just sent everybody a text after I went to the Exchange. I was like, y'all, we can totally do it. And so January we signed the lease, and 6 months later, here we are.
That's right. So 6 months they got it together.
Completely renovated, did everything. Yeah.
Right. Floors changed out.
Everything done.
They're now textured floors for
we
the
have outdoor surfaces inside. We have
permanent nets.
Permanent nets. We have a pro shop. We've got a players lounge. We have Swing Vision, which is it's AI intelligence that records your match and will give you feedback on your shots and errors and all kinds of stuff that everybody has access to if you play here. What
That's
else? I mean,
incredible.
yeah,
That's
everything.
great.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
So technology too.
Yeah,
So that's,
and the
that's
glow in the
fun.
dark pickle. Glow pickle is like the advanced group that's playing right now. That filled up first, but the glow pickle filled up second. Everybody is in love with the glow in the dark
Yes,
pickleball.
Bailey came and she posted out on Facebook what a blast they had, and that looked like a lot of fun.
It is so fun.
So
Can't wait to do it.
that's great. That's great. Well, today, is a very special day, and not only are we going to get in and get a tour, but today happens to be a big congratulations day because it's grand opening day. So Andrea is going to take us inside and give us a little tour and tell us all about the courts. How's that?
Let's go.
So this is fabulous. This is amazing. I mean, we came, you invited us to come and at least give a little, heads
Feedback,
up and feedback ahead of time. And I can't get over the difference of what this was before and the way it looks
I think it was the
now,
vacant
so.
Tuesday morning when you guys came
It
before,
was.
right? Like the
It
linoleum
was.
floor.
It was a cement floor, or maybe it might have
I
been.
think it was still linoleum, and the HVAC was low, the lights were low, and we just completely redid it.
Right.
Yeah?
And I have to say, one of the things that we talked about too was the sound and, how important it is that you can even have a conversation while pickleball is going on. It's perfect. It sounds amazing.
Right. So we made the decision to do K13 in the ceiling, which has made it so we're not walking in an echo chamber. So you can actually hear the conversation that's happening.
Yeah. And it's not so loud that it's just overwhelming.
Right.
Yes. So it is a total of 4 courts.
We have 4 courts. Well, you walked right into we got a pro shop that's set up. We're still getting all of that with our vendors, but some exciting vendors I'm looking forward to carrying. We've got Mizuno shoes, Skechers, K-Swiss, and then of course all the paddles and merchandise. So we're super excited about that. And then, we've got 4 courts, and you walk right into our players lounge that we already have corporate events set up. People are renting out. You can rent out the whole facility, a couple of courts to do birthday parties or corporate events. We've already got that stuff on the calendar.
That's wonderful. And the restrooms are right behind.
Are in the back,
And those are fabulous.
I know.
I got a little
Plenty of
sneak peek
room,
of the restroom.
plenty of room.
Plenty of room. And so these are the tablets here for the technology.
It is.
That
so
correct?
that's for Swing Vision, and we're gonna ultimately they're gonna be hanging from the ceiling.
Okay.
We have a little bit of construction left to do, but this is a temporary fix so that people can start to familiarize themselves with the technology and get comfortable using Swing Vision. Everybody gets a free account here at Cat 5, which is amazing.
That
And we
is.
just want everybody to be able to utilize that.
So, and the courts are surfaced all the way around,
That's
which
right.
is really nice.
That's right.
Because for
Yep.
those times that somebody wants to, gets pulled out wide or
That's
that
right.
kind of thing.
And it's
that
the 8
not-
foot. I mean, it's like, tournament, the dimensions. You've got 8 feet around, so plenty of playing space to do an ATP or whatever you want to do.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I remember in initially coming in and talking to you about it, I know that the posts were a
Yeah.
real challenge, and you guys were
Yeah.
talking about possibly moving them.
Right.
But what a solution.
Yeah.
You didn't have to move them.
Right,
They
and
look-
now we have plenty of room.
Right.
Everybody seems so excited. Even if they're not playing, people want to. Janice is about to walk in just to hang out and just kind of see.
Yeah,
So like, we wanted to create an atmosphere where people can just come in
Right.
and hang out and
Right.
play and watch their friends and just have a community space. For
That's
sure.
right, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's you can see several people here just to kind of hang out
Yeah.
and everything else. So tell us a little bit about your membership and signing up for courts. Do you have to be a member to play here?
You don't. We take drop-ins and membership. We have 2 tiers of membership. We have a Fun Pass membership and a Pro Pass. Fun Pass is $75 a month. You get 5 open plays for the price of 4. You also can sign up 2 weeks before non-members. So like non-members, you can only sign up for things 5 days in advance. Members, you can sign up earlier. And because we only have 4 courts, which I'm super proud of, but it's also space is limited, right?
Right,
so
right.
we make sure to give access to our members first. So Fun Pass, $75 a month. You get 5 for the price of 4. You can sign up early. You get 10% off on additional open plays or court reservations or whatever it is.
Right.
And then our second membership is the Pro Pass, which you pay for 8 and you get 12. And then you also get 10% off in the Pro Shop, and you can sign up 3 weeks in advance. So all of these other little benefits. But if you're not a member and you're just like, I don't know, I'm just gonna go check it out, it's $16 to drop in for 2 hours of open play.
Okay.
But they
great.
can also sign up for, non-members can also sign up for leagues, clinics, whatever.
So you will have leagues as well.
So I just created a summer league that's going to start this summer, July 8th, that Monday. But yeah, so we're going to have leagues, clinics, minor league pickleball events like sanctioned minor league. We're partnering with Honcho Pickleball. Very excited for all that stuff coming in.
Exciting,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's something else. So tell also too people out there who maybe want to get into pickleball and they want a lesson or two. You guys are going to be having. I know you've got some instructors on board.
Yeah. So we have clinics set up for beginners and intermediates, and then we also will offer private lessons and small group lessons. I'll be doing that. We have a handful of associate coaches, but then we're also super excited to have Jeff Boren come on as a full-time coach
great
for
coach.
us. And he is actually creating something for us that is going to be exclusive to Cat 5 that we are very excited about. But we're going to keep that on the down low until he's got it squared away.
Okay, good.
So
Well, we're going to be excited and waiting for that.
yeah,
one,
so there's a variety of opportunities for lessons and clinics and things like that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to tell us about the place that's so special that you feel really good about?
Just come check it out. I mean, I'm so excited. We are all skill levels. Check out our website, cat5pickleball.com.
Oh, good
And
thought.
then the best place to go is we have a court calendar. So you can just scroll through and see, you can look per program. Like if you're like just a beginner and all you want to see is beginner stuff, you can do that. Or if you only want to play Glow Pickleball, you can click on that tab and sign up for that. Or if you just want to walk in the door and check it out, come see us.
Okay, and is everything run through the website or is there an app as well?
There is a play-by-point app that you can download it as well. So you can do it on the website, you can do it on the app, or you can even walk in and we can get you set up as well.
That's great, and
Yeah.
maybe we can put all the little URLs or something and get that on there for you.
Yeah.
Andrea, this is so exciting,
I'm
and
so
I can
excited.
know
Thank
it's
you.
just amazing. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much for spending time
Thank
with us
you.
this morning,
Yeah.
and best wishes for
Awesome,
you.
thank you.
Okay, back to you, bud.
All right, Vicki, thanks for that interview. That was really, really good. And now it's time for Jeff and his Burr Under My Saddle.
You're burr under my saddle. You're a thorn sticking in my side.
All right, thanks, Bud. I wanted to think of something to kind of go along with safety and well-being on the court, and I'm seeing pickleball head toward this direction, and I hope that the powers that be will kind of get a hold of this because you're even hearing, and what I'm talking about is putting a cap on the power of these paddles and hard balls. And I don't want to sound like an old dinosaur. If you're up on watching pickleball, even the pros are saying this. They're wanting to see it. Um, balls are coming. You know, they're coming quick, and I not only think from a safety standpoint, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that'll probably disagree with me. Everybody's got a right to their opinion, but part of the uniqueness of pickleball is the finesse of the game. You know, being able to slow the ball down, hitting soft shots into the kitchen. If you want to turn it into a power tennis game, so be it. Turn it into a power tennis game. But then you're playing tennis on a pickleball court. Um, to me, it's if they don't do something about it and put a cap on it soon, I think pickleball is going to lose its uniqueness. Um, it's turning younger and younger, and I'm loving seeing that. But we don't want the game getting so fast that some of our older players are just left behind. You know, we want to be able to mix and match and play with older players, play with younger players. That's what's getting these families and stuff out there. So, it's kind of if they don't do something about it, it's going to be an aggravation to me, because the game is so unique. It's more unique than any sport I've ever played, and I would love to see it stay that way. So that's this week's Burr Under My Saddle. Back to you, Bud.
All right, Jeff, thanks for that. And now,
Hey, Bud, I've got a shout out.
Today for my shout out, I am actually going to turn my shout out over to Ken. But before I do that, I want you to know that I share every bit of the sentiments of what he's about to say. And I cannot be more grateful to each and every one of you out there. Ken?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I feel very blessed that so many people, prayed for me during the surgery, post surgery. So many people reached out. We had people cooking and bringing dinners to the house. I had so many text messages, phone calls, people checking on me. And you know what? It really just blew me away. It's very, very heartwarming that so many people cared and so many people reached out. I didn't realize how serious this surgery was until you're in it and trying to recover from it. And just to have that many people reach out and just say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for you." And I can't thank you guys enough. And I can't thank Bruce Center enough for stressing that I go see Dr. Chip Davis of Paradigm before making my decision. I don't know what to say. I just say thank you.
Yep.
I'd like to add a little bit to that, Ken. I was going to do a shout out, not only to you, but also to G. Nault. And I'm only going to mention this because Jen's already put it out there on Facebook, kind of letting people know what's going on with her. She's having some issues that she's trying to work through. But my shout out was just going to be to the two of y'all. We love y'all. Y'all will be in our prayers, and
Absolutely. Yes.
hope y'all can get back real soon.
I know we miss him on the court for sure. Yes.
Yeah, this has been a tough year, but you know what? This is a pit stop. I still got a lot of laps before I'm finishing this race, so it's just a pit stop to change the tires, and hopefully I'll be back out soon. So thank you all.
yeah, Ken, I even miss your cross-court return to serve that you get me on all the time. I can hardly wait for you to come back with that.
I don't miss it, Bud. I was tired of it.
I miss my partner. That's what I miss.
There you go.
Hot off the press, it's time for Ken's tournament previews.
All right, thanks, Bud. Here we go with tournament preview, July 26th, 27th. This is the Beat the Heat at the Payne Center in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Go to pickleballbrackets.com. They're going to have 9 indoor courts. Friday is mixed doubles, Saturday gender doubles. Over 20 people are registered. Registration will close July 25th. Going to August 8th through 11th is the NOLA Pickle Fest, the second annual at the Moriel Convention Center in downtown New Orleans. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. There's over 400 people registered, and the pickleball crew will be there recording as well. August 24th through 25th. Now, this is the Louisiana State Games. So we don't want to confuse them. You've got the Louisiana Senior Games. Then you got the Louisiana State Games. And then you also have the inaugural state championship. So this is the Louisiana State Games. This will be in West Monroe Sports and Event Center in West Monroe, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com. If you medal at the state games, there's going to be a state United States championship for this as well. Registration will close August 17th. Moving to September 6th through 8th, 2024, is the UPA, United Pickleball Association State Championship at the New Orleans Hilton, New Orleans, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. Registration will close August 31st. There's already over 20 people registered for this. Moving to September as well is the Ruckle Middle School Pickleball Tournament at Mooney Park in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Well, we're going to put the URL at the bottom of the screen. It's going to have a QR code on a flyer, but it's performancepicklballemeraldcoast.com. But we'll put the URL up. We'll put the flyer up. And again, there's a QR code for you to scan and register. Also in September 27th through 29th, is the Canebrake Christmas Classic at the Canebrake Pickleball, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. There are singles, mixed doubles, gender doubles. Registration has opened and it closes September 8th. September 27th through 29th is the National Pickleball Daphne Classic at W.O. Lott Park in Daphne, Alabama. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. Again, there's singles, mixed doubles, and gender doubles, and registration closes September 23rd. October 4th through 6th, there is the West Feliciana Pickleball Fall Fling at the West Feliciana Sportsplex, St. Francisville, Florida. This is a mail-in registration, or you can call David Parker II at 225-245-1892. We're going to put the flyer on the screen as well. Look, check the different Facebook sites because the flyer is there. Print it out. You do have to mail in the flyer. There's no online registration for this tournament. Also, October 4th through 6th is the Louisiana Senior Games at Stack's Pickleball in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Note, this is a qualifying year for nationals, which will be held in Des Moines, Iowa, in the summer of 2025. Also, October 25th through 27th is the Halloween in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're probably going to put the URL up for one last time, just in case there's a chance for you to get in, slip in for somebody needing a partner. Moving to November 2nd is the Patriot Pickleball Tournament at Coquille Park in Covington, Louisiana. Note that this is for 3-0 and 3-5 levels only. There's gender doubles and mixed doubles. Also, November 1st through 3rd is the National Daphne Pickleball Classic at W.O. Lott Park. Go to pickleballbrackets.com. There's singles, doubles, and mixed doubles, which will be on Saturday. And finally, November 15th through 17th, 2024, is the World Pickleball Tour at Breck Greenwood in Baker, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com. Registration closed November 10th. And that's it, Bud, for Pickleball Tournament Preview. Back to you.
Thanks, Ken, for those previews. Lots of tournaments out there, folks. Get out there and do it. And now, if nobody has anything else, I think it's time to say goodnight. And, of course, welcome back, Ken. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, pickleball community.
Hey, from the Pickleball crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next week.
Well, that's it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave any comments and please like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks again and see you next week.